And what these lines here do are the borders of which area we can use and which areas we can't. They're known as fog lines, which basically shows up when we're in F1 mode playing the game. It shows us the fog lines. So we're going to use men in this area, and I'm going to show you how to set up two teams. So we're going to set up some riflemen over here, and we're going to set up a different nation, or Germany. Let's get some more riflemen over here, and here we're going to learn how to control these units. So for the starters, you've got to learn teams, how to set up teams first. So we're going to name those player 1 and these ones player 2. And people have a lot of trouble doing this at this moment. When you're in F1 mode, as we are now, you can't actually control these. You're playing as player 0. You can actually switch the player by clicking on your number pad, which is on the right side of my keyboard, player 1 or player 2. As we're playing player 0, you won't be able to play or control as these, but as you switch, you can then move them around. Or, in a sense, even shoot the other players without them fighting back, unless you switch these settings options to get them to fight back. Anyway, to duplicate these men, it's Control C, which will copy 7 entities, and then Control V will make some more of them. And we will also do the same with these guys, like so. You can also click the right click and then hold the mouse button to drag them around. We gotta move these guys around though by rotating them. You click just C, hold C, and then rotate them, like so. Now they're facing each other, you can then mess around with the terrain and get rid of things that are getting in the way of your war zone. And if we go in F1 mode, you can then see both perspectives of the view here. So we've got English over here and German is over here. When I click start, which is down in the bottom right hand corner, they will play and fight each other. Kind of depressing, considering I can do something about it, but I'm not going to. After you have finished your war, you click finish and it will start the game and reset all the options so you have your men again. This game mode also allows you to mess around with a variety of soldiers. For example, holding the X button makes you retard the character. For example, he can walk like this. So in F1 mode, and you go onto the player, he can mess around a little bit. By clicking the control button, you are able to control your character by simply moving around the mouse button. When you have a target, simply click the left mouse button to fire. You'll see that button that is reloading, and you will be able to take out your targets with just using your mouse button. When you want to upgrade your battle mode, simply go into vehicles when you're ready to add armor, and you can choose between heavy tanks, light tanks and medium tanks, or boats. Which, yes, you will think, oh my god, that is a boat. That is a Yubari Japanese destroyer. Now, you may think that, yes, that is amazing, and it will actually float on land. Only 2 people can get in it and man the boat. Not able actually to fire the boat, but you can actually control it with moving it around. It's quite scary to come across. I mean, it's a big boat. It is a big boat. Although you can only fire these machine guns. So yes, you can actually fire something from it. You can also edit parts on the boat by simply selecting them and clicking delete. You can delete the stupidest parts of the boat and make it look stupid. That's pretty much. So we're going to play around with heavy tanks. We're going to give the Germans the Tiger II heavy tank. Every tank needs crewmen. So you can access crewman by scrolling down on the MP section to go onto Tankman 1 and Tankman 2. Tankman 1 is basic trained crewman, and Tankman 2 is the commander of the tank. Simply select their player by clicking the player 1 or player 2, and you'll be able to access it by simply clicking F1 and selecting the number that you control it with. After you've set up your tank crewman, you should simply access it by clicking the F1 mode and select them to go in the tank. Like that. When your crew is in the tank, you can also mess around with it by moving it around. You can also kill the enemy units by just using the tank itself, which is kind of OP. You can actually use this mode in skirmishes, but it would be funny if you could just run them all over with a tank. But it's stupid. Okay, we're going to start this tank battle. We're going to put this tank, the Centurion battle tank, over here, and we're going to move the Tiger II over here on this mountaintop. When you are ready to play the battle, simply click Start, and you can watch it from a distance by in F1 mode. As you see, the Centurion battle tank was one hit killed by the Tiger II because it was hit from the rear, and in this game the angle of the tank is a real advantage if you can get it in the right spot. For example, you can shoot the engine individually with a tank, which damages the engine, immobilizing it. You could shoot the tracks, immobilizing it, or you can shoot the turret. Usually shooting the turret disables the tank's damage that it can inflict upon enemy armor. So if you have a tank, a light tank for example, and shoot the enemy turret of this tank for example, and damage it, you can actually potentially knock the tank out of action. Therefore you have a massive advantage and can destroy it by simply pot-shotting it. However, if the tank has armor like this one, it will simply bounce off the tank. Or in some cases, it will bounce off the tank and leave a dent depending on what shell it is and how much damage the shell type does. For example, a high explosive shell from the Centurion battle tank which fires at this tank isn't going to be very effective. However, it will bounce off the tank and do some damage on terrain. If an AP shell was fired at the right spot, for example, at the back of the engine of the heavy tank, or the King Tiger, or Tiger II, it will potentially knock the tank out of action. Here we have a small battlefield set up. The number of units that you put into a battle can be adjusted depending on how good your computer runs at. The more men and more vehicles that you put into a battle, the worse the FPS will be. For example, as you see in the video, it begins to get a little bit slow after I put in some men. I've done a lot of big battles before and I put too many men in, for example over 200 men and many vehicles, and there was just a lot of red dots on the field as soon as I clicked the amount of dead bodies that were on the field. So in this clip, please enjoy. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I hope that this video has helped you learn how to use editing more effectively. And if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment maybe if you would like to see anything else, and thank you all for watching. Have fun with editing, go blow the shit out of it, I don't mind, that's what it's there for, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios!